Hey guys, welcome back. It's still the 12th October. Lots and lots of stories to cover. So I'm going to do a bit of a recap on a potential theory of mine regarding this pound situation. So we'll go back to the 4th of October. Brexit weekly briefing. May sets date and looks to do it the hard way. So a hard Brexit, which was announced on the 4th by Theresa May, is the UK will leave the European Union without any debates. So she set the date of March 2017. Now obviously nothing of gravitas happened inside the markets on that date. But 2 days later, on the 6th at almost midnight, on this chart it is showing midnight, the pound dropped 6% against the dollar. And as we know, this is a waterfall drop. There's no coming back. There's no steps down. It's just a straight down and a straight up. So this was a serious, serious impact for the British pound. And enough to send shockwaves through the economy due to international trading. Anybody who is buying internationally using the pound will have just been screwed over big time. Yet anybody coming in and purchasing items from the UK have just made a nice little profit. So let me bring you on to this next article, which is an update as of today. Sterling surges after UK PM May appears to back away from hard Brexit. So another 8 days later, after her initial announcement, and bear in mind this 6% drop we had, as of today, the 12th, the pound is now rallying again, based upon speculation of her change in mind. So what would cause somebody to change their mind? Well, let's just have a quick look at the article. Following a 240 pip plunge in cable today, the pound is frenetically bouncing in early Asian trading after Bloomberg reports that the UK Prime Minister Theresa May has accepted that Parliament should be allowed to vote on UK leaving the EU, but in a way that gives her space to negotiate, but adding that there shouldn't be an attempt to block Brexit. So as everybody has been speculating during the last few months regarding this Brexit, we all understand that even though the masses of the public have voted in favour of leaving, we found out that this is just an advisory note to the government, and that the government hold the true power of decision and can retract the public's vote. Now, admittedly, that will create all kinds of problems with people that voted leave. But on the flip side, there's still a lot of brainwashed people that don't even understand what a godsend that leave was, and are still campaigning to this day in the UK, saying that we have to remain part of the EU. And that's the part of the brainwashed state that we live in. So back on topic, with the pound plummeting day after day, it appears a desperate effort to stanch the flow and surge in implied inflationary pressure promoted a modest concession by a UK PM Theresa May away from her hard Brexit call last week. So with the potential of May coming out and saying, hey guys, we're actually going to hold this as a debate in the House of Commons, and then boom, up the pound goes. Because what that implies is now all the pro-EU, paid for, bribed officials inside of this House of Commons can overrule via debate the decision to do this Brexit, to leave the EU. We already know all the people and all the issues that happened in government when Brexit left. People resigned. Tens of people resigned from high office positions because they held the opposite view. Now, there will still be large amounts of people, politicians, MPs, that have financially lost a lot of money because of the vote that was made. But there's something about this that a lot of us guys don't trust. And it's really hard to actually dig deep and analyse what's going on. Initially, at the beginning, a lot of the alternative medias were ecstatic about this news. But then it started coming to light that perhaps this was a design. Because we know if people could actually change things via voting, then voting would have been made illegal. And you have to keep that in the back of your mind, because then it makes you think, well, maybe it was designed. Maybe this whole EU, Euro, was designed to fail from the beginning. But it's a stepping stone, a phase one of one world currency, to get many nations used to sharing a currency. And perhaps one way to make the entire EU sector collapse. The officials who control, the oligarchs of the West, the globalists of the West, have to remove some nations to create a catastrophic collapse. Now that's just one theory, because then the opposite theory is, well, maybe this did really happen by mistake. Maybe this is a warring faction of oligarchs. Maybe some oligarchs in the UK just don't agree with what's happening in the EU. And their retaliation to that is fixing the votes to leave. Now, one thing that could be happening in regards to why May is now coming out with effectively uncertainty, or perhaps she is being spoken to. Perhaps people like, just for an example, George Soros was very upset with this decision of the UK leaving and has threatened Theresa May. If you do a hard exit without taking this to debate, then I will trash your pound. And you are responsible, being Prime Minister of the UK, for foreign relations, monetary funds, and you will be held responsible for why the UK has collapsed financially. Or I'll let your pound recover if you take it to the House of Commons and let them debate it and conclude to the best outcome. Now you can see the dilemma that she has. Does she want to be seen as the one person who destroyed the UK pound? Or does she just want to earn as much money, get out of the position and retire happily, like most other politicians? Get in, spill the blood, make your money and get out. Forget about the people, forget about the country, forget about the entrapment created. They don't care about the small guy. Self-centered is what they are. So now it starts to make sense. And don't forget, George Soros is also the guy that held the UK to ransom many years ago and actually destroyed the pound back then. And as he has contacts and connections to the whole financial industry, it doesn't take much for somebody to have a fat finger on a stock exchange currency trade in the early hours of the morning when nobody's in the office to just flick that switch. Oops. And with that, billions are lost. So guys, it's not outside the realm of possibility that So I think we have to understand that there's two outcomes that is going to come from this. The first one is the people controlling this country, the politicians who hold the votes, will obviously only care about how much money they make. They won't care about what is right for the country. They care also about their egos. And don't forget, ultimately, every single currency will be going down to zero. That's just a matter of fact. The whole objective is to not be the first to crash. You want to be seen to be holding a strong currency because that is what the people like. The people like their currencies to be strong. They don't like to see them crumbling away. So every single currency, apart from the US dollar for the time being, will become very turbulent over these next few months while elections are taking place, while talks of this Brexit are happening. But ultimately, this is all part of an agenda in the collapse of the current society that we have, the current financial system that is in place. Because they're not happy with just the European setup. The people are not happy with the European setup. But the people's votes don't count. The only thing that counts are the people that are in power, pulling the levers. And that is what happens when you pull a lever and make a statement backing up your threat. You do what we say, or we will just continue to do this. We will destroy you. So that was again just another warning from whoever is behind that curtain that you play ball, you do what we say, or there'll be consequences. And obviously in the background, we know that via my other video that they are constantly pushing for this war. So this whole war system, as we know through history, is designed to mask a financial collapse so they can introduce a new system. Because who will trust a system that collapses naturally through sheer weight and volume of debt? No, it has to be issued after a war, after millions have died in the process and forgotten all about the currency situation. Because at the end of the day, what matters? Life matters. Health matters. Wealth is just a material item. These guys have nothing better to do than just generate schemes their whole lifetime. The role of an oligarch and a globalist is to plot and scheme. They don't have to spend their 60 years of life running around the hamster wheel just to feed themselves. But even with all those generations of schemes and plots, they haven't accounted for the internet, for the spread of information, which they are now trying to control via demonetizing on YouTube, via deleting accounts on YouTube, deleting posts across the internet, chasing down people that leak information, killing people that know too much, and allowing the dumb society to grow. The sooner people wake up to the whole war scenario, then the sooner we don't conform to it. They don't fight their wars. They let the stupid fight their wars. The ignorant, brain-dead zombies fight their wars. But who's to say it's even a natural war? This could all just be part of an agenda between global elites. And I mean every single nation could be in cahoots with each other, in fooling the masses into propagandas, into alternative theories, when behind the doors they laugh with each other, they drink, they share wine, they eat cheese. How do we know what's real in this artificial world, in this state of constant confusion and propaganda from every single angle being thrust upon us. I mean, you could understand if you were running a system and you wanted to collapse that system and still remain in power, then clearly it could be an age-old system, which many have already documented that it is, going back from times of Egypt. And that is why there are still links in various Masonic lodges around the world of Egyptian artifacts at the cornerstones of these buildings. There is so much hidden knowledge that is only available to certain circles of people, while the masses get indoctrinated via the schooling systems, brainwashed via the media, their bodies and organs polluted with toxins, pineal glands calcified, and on it goes, all to keep the people dumb. But that's the state of affairs, and there's not a lot we can really do other than spread this information and try to raise awareness. We can stand up, we can rally in the streets. But will that change much? Well, only if enough people are doing it. The problem about society will be in some form of collapse or war. The standard of living will drop. Currently, the pound is dropping. Many other currencies are dropping. And are people's wages increasing? No. So are people's standard of living getting better or worse? They're getting worse. Yet people don't see it. They see the figures coming out that life's good, prices are coming down, the currencies are strong, we're in a recovery. Yet everything is indicating otherwise. And the people are too stupid to even see it. They just carry on with the attitude of, nah, what can I do about it? And as we all know, when we try talking to people about these subjects, they glaze over. And even if they do discuss the topic, their mindset is so out of whack with reality, they don't even know what they're talking about. They're just regurgitating pure bullshit. For example, I talked to a family member just the other day about how the pound is dropping and how the stocks are rallying. To which he replied, well, there's nowhere else to put the money. People are not getting anything in the banks, which is correct. And everybody's flooding into stocks. And I said, everybody's not flooding into stocks. Everybody's flooding out. The only reason the stock markets are being held up is because of all the money that is created through the banking system, the printing out of thin air, artificially pumping QE to keep the system alive, and artificially on a drip while the actual vessel remains in a coma. To which this comment was flatly refused. No, people are going into the stock markets. It's the only place people can put money. I said hedge funds are pulling their money out from banking sectors and in all likelihood putting it into mining shares because that's the only place that they can put it. Even Warren Buffett, the most bullish stockholder in history, is out of stocks. You know, what does that tell you? Over this year, so many billionaires, top people that markets watch have moved out. Is that not an alarm bell that something is going to happen? And then you have all the threats of terrorism coming across media outlets regarding London is going to be hit imminently. So people ain't got a clue what to think. They're just stuck in fear. And what do sheep do when they're in fear? Well, either they just huddle and stay together and don't move, or they get herded off a cliff They sure as hell don't tell the rest of the sheep, hey guys, come this way, it's safe. But guys, there's so much doom and gloom with all the media that you just, you have to accept it. You have to be at peace with what's going on. I mean, it's happening. It's miserable. It's going to happen. It's inevitable. It's going to happen. And it actually, it takes a long time for you to go through the phases of understanding, becoming angry, educating yourself, trying to share the information, again, which nobody listens to. And then you understand that nobody listens to it or even cares. Nobody even gives a shit about what is going on. As long as I can watch Netflix, I'm happy. And that's probably why nothing we do will actually do anything to benefit society. Because society will just be herded off that cliff until the last minute of realization. And they're going to be mid-air, hitting terminal velocity before they think, oh shit, something's not right here. This is going to hurt. Yeah, but guys, it's too late then. Thanks for watching.